Most people aren't broke because they're lazy. They're broke because they were trained to be. From childhood, we were taught how to make a living, but not how to build a life. We were told to study hard, get a good job, and hope for security. But no one told us that security doesn't come from a paycheck. It comes from ownership. No one said the system was designed to make you a worker, not a winner. You were trained to depend, not to design, to consume, not to create. And today, I want to help you unlearn that conditioning, because until you change the program, you'll keep producing the same financial results. Most people don't realize they're wearing invisible chains. They wake up every morning, rush to work, collect a paycheck, and call it life. But that's not life, that's maintenance. You've been conditioned to trade hours for dollars, comfort for growth, security for slavery. But the wealthy, they learn something different. They learn that freedom doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from understanding the rules of the game. The moment you stop playing by the rules they taught you and start creating your own, that's the moment you stop being broke. Because wealth is not inherited by luck, it's inherited by mindset. You know, it's an interesting thing. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they were trained to fail. From the time we were children, we were handed a script, a formula for survival, not success. Go to school, get good grades, find a secure job, and work hard. And so we do. We spend 20 years in classrooms learning how to pass tests, how to follow instructions, how to fit in. But almost no one ever pulls us aside to teach us how to think for ourselves, how to build, how to own, how to make money work for us instead of working endlessly for money. That's not education, that's conditioning. And the first step to wealth, my friend, is to unlearn it. When I was young, I worked hard, harder than anyone I knew. I showed up early, stayed late, and thought that was the formula for prosperity. But after years of that routine, all I had to show for it were tired hands and empty pockets. I started to realize something. I wasn't lazy. I was trained wrong. I was living according to someone else's design, someone else's system. And that system wasn't designed to make me wealthy. It was designed to make me dependable, to keep me in the cycle, work, earn, spend, repeat. So I made a decision. I decided to question everything I had been taught about money. I decided to stop asking, how do I make more? And start asking, how do I keep more, grow more, and multiply what I already have? You see, the broke mindset is a learned behavior. It's inherited, not chosen. We pick it up from parents who meant well but struggled, from teachers who taught from theory, not experience, and from a culture that glorifies spending but never saving. Most people spend money they haven't earned on things they don't need to impress people who don't care. That's not freedom. That's financial hypnosis. And if you don't wake up from it, you'll live your entire life wondering why you worked so hard but never got ahead. To unlearn poverty, you have to replace reaction with reflection. You must become a student again, but this time a student of wealth. Study the people who've done what you wish to do. Read their books. Listen to their philosophy. Not the noise of entertainment, but the wisdom of experience. When you understand how money truly works, you'll stop chasing it and start attracting it. And don't just question the world, question yourself. Ask, what beliefs about money did I inherit that no longer serve me? Maybe it's the idea that money is evil, or that wanting more is selfish, or that wealth is reserved for the lucky few. Replace those thoughts with truth. Money is neutral. It takes on the personality of its owner. In good hands, it builds schools, feeds families, and funds freedom. The moment you start unlearning the system that trained you to be broke is the moment you start building a new one that works for you, not against you. Because wealth doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your mind. Change the way you think, and the way you live will follow. Let's talk about something that most people never truly understand, the difference between income and wealth. You see, income feeds you today, wealth feeds you for life. Most people spend their entire lives chasing income. And when they finally get it, they spend it all. They think a bigger paycheck means they're doing better, but that's not always true. I've met plenty of people with six-figure salaries who are one missed paycheck away from financial collapse. Why? Because they built a life on income, not on assets. They worked hard for money, but never learned how to make money work hard for them. I remember when I was starting out, I thought the answer was simple: earn more. So I worked longer hours, took on extra jobs, and pushed myself to exhaustion. But no matter how much I earned, it all seemed to vanish. Then one day, I met a man who had what I didn't. Not just money, but peace of mind. He didn't seem to worry about the next bill or the next opportunity. So I asked him, "What's the secret?" He smiled and said, "It's simple. I don't work for money anymore. Money works for me." That statement changed the entire direction of my life. You see, income is a one-time reward for effort. You trade time, skill, or labor, and you get paid. But wealth is a reward that keeps coming, whether you show up or not. Wealth is built when you take what you earn and use it to buy things that earn for you, assets. And here's the truth. Until you own something that produces income without your constant presence, you'll always be working for someone else's dream. Let me put it this way. If your money stops the moment you stop working, you don't own wealth, you own a job. And that's not freedom, that's dependency. The wealthy understand this difference and live by a simple rule: use income to buy assets, and let assets create more income. That's how the cycle of freedom begins. So how do you start? Begin by knowing where your money goes. Write it down. Make 2 columns, one for what brings income in and one for what sends income out. For most people, the out column is full of expenses, things that lose value the moment they're bought. Cars, gadgets, clothes, even comfort subscriptions, all shiny, all temporary. But the in column, empty. That's where the problem begins. The goal is to reverse that pattern. Start small, save a portion of every paycheck, even 10 or 20%, and use it to buy assets that grow. A few shares of an index fund, a small rental property, royalties from a book or an idea, or a stake in a business. You don't need to start big. You just need to start consistent. Because every dollar you invest wisely becomes an employee that never sleeps. And here's the truth. You can't build wealth if everything you earn is spent on what disappears. Income makes a living, but assets make a life. Don't measure success by your paycheck. Measure it by how many things are working for you while you sleep. When your money begins earning its own money, that's when you'll finally understand what it means to be wealthy. One of the first lessons I learned about wealth was simple but profound. If you can't protect what you have, you'll never grow what you earn. You see, most people want to skip straight to the excitement, the investing, the multiplying, the high returns. They want to plant seeds in every field they can find. But what good is planting if the ground isn't secure? If the storm can wipe away everything overnight? Protection is not the most glamorous part of wealth building, but it is the foundation of it. Without protection, growth becomes gambling. And gambling is not strategy. It's desperation disguised as optimism. When I was young, I made that mistake myself. I was eager, hungry, impatient. I wanted to make big moves fast. I'd earn a little, invest a lot, and hope for the best. But one wrong turn, one unexpected setback, and I'd be back to zero. Then one day, a mentor said something that stopped me cold. He said, "You're trying to build wealth like a man trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. Until you fix the hole, it doesn't matter how much you pour in." That lesson changed how I saw money forever. Before you plant your seeds, make sure the soil is secure. Before you chase growth, protect the foundation. So, what does protection really mean? It means thinking like a farmer, not a gambler. The farmer doesn't throw his best seeds into unguarded land. He fences the field, clears the weeds, checks the weather, and only then begins planting. Likewise, you must guard your capital, your income, and your peace of mind. That starts with something as practical as an emergency fund. If you don't have at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved, you're one storm away from financial disaster. That fund is not a luxury, it's a shield. It's the difference between panic and patience when life throws you a curveball. Protection also means controlling your risk. Every year, review your insurance, your health, your home, your business, your life. The purpose of insurance is not to make you rich. It's to prevent you from becoming poor again. One medical bill, one accident, one lawsuit can erase years of progress. Don't let what's unpredictable destroy what's been built. And finally, protection means mastering restraint. Never risk the essential to gain the optional. The wise never put their safety on the line for the sake of excitement. If your investment depends on hope instead of understanding, that's not a strategy, that's speculation. Know what you can afford to lose and never risk what you can't replace. Remember, wealth is not built in a day, but it can be destroyed in one. Protect the seed before you plant it. Guard what you have so that what you build will last. Because prosperity is not just about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, protect, and grow with wisdom. I like to think of money not as paper or digits, but as employees, little workers with potential. Each dollar you earn is ready to serve, ready to perform a task. The question is, what kind of boss are you? Because most people don't act like employers when it comes to money. They act like spenders. They get paid, and immediately they fire every dollar by the weekend, gone to entertainment, gadgets, or impulse buys. Then come Monday, they wonder why they're short-staffed. The wealthy think differently. They treat every dollar like a trained employee with a clear purpose: to work, to produce, and to bring more dollars back to the company. When I first heard this idea, it hit me hard. My mentor once told me, if your money isn't working for you, you'll forever work for it. I didn't quite understand what he meant until I started paying attention to where my money went. I'd get my paycheck, and before I could think, it was gone. Every dollar had left me, none stayed behind to work. I was earning, but I wasn't building. The rich don't spend to feel good today, they invest to live well tomorrow, so I made a decision. From that day on, I would become the manager of my own financial team. Every dollar that came in would be given a task. You see, it's not how much money you make, it's how well you direct it. You can have $10,000 and waste it, or $100 and multiply it. The difference is management. The goal is to make your money work even when you're resting, sleeping, or traveling. That's what systems do. Systems make sure your money keeps showing up on time, doing its job, and producing results. Automate your savings so you never have to rely on willpower. Automate your investments so consistency becomes habit. Don't let emotion dictate your spending. Let discipline do it. Think of it this way. If you ran a business and never reviewed employee performance, how long would that business survive? The same goes for your finances. Each month, hold a performance review with your dollars. Ask, where did you go? What did you produce? Did you grow or did you vanish? If your money isn't bringing back value, it's time to retrain it or reassign it. Maybe some of those dollars are sitting idle in a low yield account. Maybe they're tied up in things that depreciate instead of appreciate. Whatever the case, take charge. Money, when left unmanaged, becomes lazy. But money under guidance becomes a miracle. And remember this, every wealthy person you see didn't get there just by earning a lot. They got there because they trained their dollars to work harder than they did. Every asset, every investment, every bit of growth was built from disciplined management. So treat every dollar with respect. Give it a purpose, hold it accountable, and let it work for you, not against you. Because the day your money starts working harder than you do, that's the day you begin to experience real financial freedom. One of the most dangerous traps in modern life is the illusion of progress, lifestyle, debt. You know the one, the shiny car, the new gadget, the fancy dinner, the trip you couldn't quite afford but justified with, I deserve it. It feels like forward motion, but it's not. It's movement without direction, and it leads straight into quicksand. You can dress it up, polish it, even convince yourself it's success, but underneath, it's erosion of peace, freedom, and your future. When I was young and just starting to make money, I fell into that same trap. I thought the way to show progress was through possessions. I'd look around and think, everyone else seems to be doing well. They've got new cars, nice clothes, bigger houses, so I followed suit. I financed things I didn't need with money I didn't have to impress people who weren't paying attention. And for a while, it felt good, like I had arrived. But you know what I really arrived at? Stress, endless payments, sleepless nights, and a wallet that worked harder than my mind. That was when I learned a painful but priceless truth. True wealth is quiet, but debt screams. The illusion of lifestyle debt is powerful because it mimics progress. You get something new, you feel successful, but what you're really doing is renting an image you can't afford to own. The wealthy don't play that game. They don't chase status, they chase stability. They understand that borrowed comfort becomes future discomfort. They borrow, yes, but only when debt becomes a tool for growth, not a chain for survival. There's a big difference between borrowing to buy an appreciating asset, something that earns or grows in value, and borrowing to fund consumption that vanishes the moment it's used. One builds your freedom, the other steals it. So how do you break that illusion? Start by facing it. Make a list of every debt you owe, every card, every loan, every payment. Don't hide from it. Confront it. Then attack the high-interest ones first. Those are the financial cancers. They grow fastest and take the most from your future. Every time you pay one off, you're not just clearing a balance, you're reclaiming a piece of your peace. Next, practice restraint. Before any major purchase, use what I call the 24-hour rule. If you see something you want, wait a full day before buying it. That delay exposes impulse. If, after 24 hours, it still feels right and serves a purpose, not an ego, then consider it. But if the urge fades, you've just saved yourself from a decision that would have cost you more than money. And finally, change the story you tell yourself. Replace "I deserve it" with "Can it serve me?" You deserve peace more than possessions. You deserve freedom more than fashion. And you deserve to build something lasting, not something that fades with the next payment cycle. Remember, progress is not what you can buy today, it's what you can build for tomorrow. Don't let lifestyle debt disguise itself as success, because wealth whispers. And when you learn to listen to the quiet discipline of living below your means, that's when your money finally starts speaking in freedom. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned about wealth is this: the game of money is played on two sides, offense and defense. Offense is how you earn, grow, and multiply your money. Defense is how you protect it. Most people only play offense. They work harder, hustle more, and chase every new opportunity. But without a solid defense, it's like filling a bucket full of holes. You can pour all the water you want in, but if you don't plug the leaks, it will never stay full. The wealthy understand this balance. They don't just focus on making money, they focus on keeping it. Because if you can't keep what you make, you'll never grow what you earn. Early in my life, I was all offense. I thought the key was just to make more sales, more income, more effort. And for a while, it worked. The numbers were going up, but something strange happened. Even as I earned more, I didn't feel more secure. I was still stressed, still vulnerable, still one unexpected event away from trouble. Then it hit me. I didn't need more money. I needed a better plan for what I already had. I was good at making it, but careless at managing it. It was like running faster in the wrong direction. That's when I learned you don't build wealth by accident. You build it by design, and design includes defense. So what does financial defense look like? It starts with awareness. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They work hard for it, but once it leaves their hands, it disappears into expenses, habits, and impulses. You must track every dollar, not because you're obsessed with money, but because you respect it. Awareness creates control. Each week, look at your spending and ask, where are the leaks? Plug them fast. Because a small leak ignored today becomes a flood tomorrow. Next, automate your protection. Don't rely on willpower to save. It's too fragile. Set up automatic transfers from your income straight into savings and investments. Make losing money harder than earning it. The wealthy don't save what's left after spending. They spend what's left after saving. They build a habit that functions like a fortress, steady, predictable, secure. Then comes diversification. Don't let one mistake or one downturn destroy everything you've worked for. Spread your risk across different assets, different industries, even different income stream. One investment may stumble, but the others will stand. Remember, no empire was ever built on one pillar alone. The truth is, the world rewards those who prepare, not those who panic. When you have a strong financial defense, when your savings are steady, your spending is disciplined, and your risks are managed, something incredible happens. You stop making decisions out of fear and start making them out of freedom. You're no longer chasing opportunities just to survive, you're choosing them to thrive. So build your financial defense first. Make your foundation so solid that no storm can shake it. Because offense may help you win the game, but defense ensures you get to keep the trophy. When I first started on the path of building wealth, I believed that one job, one paycheck, one source of income was enough. I thought, as long as I worked hard, the money would follow. But life has a way of teaching hard lessons. A layoff, an economic downturn, or even unexpected expenses can wipe out all of that effort if there's only one stream feeding your financial life. That's when I realized the fundamental truth. Wealth is not built with buckets, it's built with streams. A bucket holds water temporarily. Streams keep flowing, even when the rain stops. A single paycheck is a bucket. It fills up, you use it, it empties, and then you wait for the next one. That's the cycle most people are trapped in. The wealthy, however, create streams, multiple sources of cash flow that feed them consistently. Some are active, like a business or freelance work. Some are passive, like dividends, royalties, or rental income. The power of multiple streams is that they support each other. If one slows down, the others keep flowing. Risk is spread, pressure is reduced, and freedom grows. When I began, I made a list of all the ways I could earn beyond my main job. At first, it was small things: teaching a weekend seminar, writing a newsletter, consulting for local businesses. Each of these started modestly, but as I reinvested the profits and focused on consistency, they began to multiply. One stream funded the next, and the next provided enough security to take calculated risks on bigger opportunities. I began to understand the compounding power, not just in money, but in effort and creativity. Creating streams also changes your mindset. You stop seeing money as scarce and start seeing it as a network of opportunities. You learn to leverage your time, skills, and resources in multiple directions instead of putting all your eggs in one basket. It forces you to think strategically, to prioritize, and to invest wisely. Every dollar earned from one stream can feed another, compounding both your income and your independence. So I challenge you, identify 3 streams you can start building today. Reinvest, automate, and expand them. Diversify your energy as you diversify your income. Build streams, not buckets. Because a life sustained by a single paycheck is fragile, but a life fed by multiple streams is unstoppable. When I look back at the early days of my financial journey, I remember the stark contrast between what I earned and what I wanted to become. I didn't have much, but I had a vision that demanded discipline. The challenge was simple: live below my means while thinking beyond them. Most people confuse frugality with deprivation and ambition with recklessness. The key is balance. Frugality without vision keeps you trapped in scarcity. Vision without discipline leads to ruin. True wealth emerges when prudence and ambition work together. Living below your means is not about denying yourself entirely. It's about directing your resources toward what multiplies rather than what merely consumes. I made a personal rule early on: no more than 70% of my income would cover lifestyle and consumption. The remaining 30% went straight into learning, investing, and giving. That allocation forced me to prioritize value over appearance and substance over fleeting satisfaction. I still remember skipping certain luxuries, not because I had to, but because I understood that every dollar saved was a seed for my future freedom. Thinking beyond your means doesn't mean spending recklessly. It means expanding your vision. It means seeing the opportunities that lie ahead and using today's discipline to fund tomorrow's freedom. I kept track of my freedom ratio, how much of my income was working for me versus how much I was working for income. The higher the ratio, the closer I was to independence. Each month, I reviewed where my money went, how it was growing, and whether my investments and learning were accelerating that ratio. Living below your means also creates resilience. Life is unpredictable, unexpected expenses, market downturns, personal emergencies. When your spending is controlled, you have the flexibility to navigate challenges without derailing your progress. Simultaneously, by thinking beyond your means, you maintain a constant connection to opportunity. Every saved dollar becomes a potential investment. Every hour of learning compounds your skill, and every act of giving strengthens relationships that can open doors later. So, I challenge you, commit to living below your means with purpose. Cap your lifestyle, invest in your growth, and let your money work to expand your freedom. Discipline today lays the foundation for the wealth and independence you envision for tomorrow. When I first began accumulating money, I quickly realized that wealth alone does not define success. Money can make life easier, provide comfort, and open doors, but without wisdom, It can vanish just as fast as it came. I've seen people earn fortunes only to lose them because their character, judgment, and habits weren't strong enough to steward the wealth. Wealth without wisdom is poverty in disguise. It's like having a powerful engine but no steering. It can take you far, but in the wrong direction, or worse, into disaster. The first step is recognizing that money is a tool, not a master. It amplifies who you already are. If you are disciplined, humble, and thoughtful, money serves you and grows. If you are careless or arrogant, money becomes a destructive force. I learned early on that wealth magnifies character. Every financial decision became a test. Would I act out of impulse or foresight? Would I seek status or security? Would I serve others or only myself? Each choice shaped the trajectory of my life far more than the balance in my bank account. Strategy is simple but profound. Grow in humility, gratitude, and stewardship. Reflect on your money weekly. Ask yourself, what role does it play in my life? Am I letting it shape me, or am I shaping how it works for me? I began giving 5–10% of my income to causes and people who needed help. Not for recognition, but to cultivate detachment and generosity. Giving trains the mind to see money as a tool to create impact, not just accumulate pleasure. Mentorship is another cornerstone. I committed to guiding younger people in financial discipline, teaching them to save, invest, and think beyond instant gratification. Doing so reinforced my own understanding and strengthened my habits. Every lesson I shared doubled as a test of my own wisdom, ensuring I didn't just possess wealth, but understood how to sustain it. If you want your wealth to endure, make wisdom your companion. Let money magnify your character, not replace it. Build knowledge, give generously, and guide others, and your wealth will truly become freedom, legacy, and lasting prosperity. When I look back on my own journey, one lesson stands above many. Wealth is built quietly, not flaunted loudly. I've met countless people chasing appearances, expensive cars, big houses, designer clothes, all hoping the world would see them as successful. And yet, behind the facade, many were drowning in debt, stress, and insecurity. True wealth doesn't need to announce itself. Those who are truly rich focus on building systems, acquiring assets, and growing freedom. They spend to progress, not to impress. Loud luxury often masks silent struggle. Quiet accumulation builds real power. The philosophy is simple. Redirect your energy from display to discipline. Instead of chasing applause, chase results. Instead of measuring success by how many eyes notice you, measure it by how much value you create, how much security you build, and how much freedom you gain. The world is full of people performing wealth, but very few quietly growing it. The difference is patience, prudence, and consistency. I learned early on to admire those who could let their bank account, portfolio, and business speak louder than a flashy car ever could. Power is in what you build, not what you show. The strategy is to let your results, not your image, define your worth. Shift your attention from consumption to creation. Spend money on what increases your capacity, education, investments, business systems. Let discipline guide you, not impulse or the pressure of peers. Wealth that accumulates quietly compounds faster and lasts longer than money spent to gain fleeting admiration. Practical steps are simple but require self-control. Before any purchase, ask, does this add value or just vanity? Remove emotional purchases tied to status. Instead, allocate funds to assets that grow and generate income. Track your net worth regularly rather than your social media image. Let your assets, not your outfit or possessions, define your worth. Remember the quiet accumulation. The unseen, steady, disciplined work is the bedrock of real wealth. Real power is built in silence, and over time, it speaks volumes without a word. When I reflect on the paths that lead to true wealth, one truth stands out. Every fortune is built by solving a problem. The world doesn't pay you for complaints. It pays you for solutions. Every successful business, every millionaire I've studied, has grown because someone saw a problem and turned it into an opportunity. Problems are not obstacles, they are invitations. The bigger the problem you solve, the more wealth you attract, because value is measured by the relief you bring, the needs you meet, and the improvement you create in someone else's life. The philosophy is clear. Stop running from problems and start studying them. Life will always present challenges, inconveniences, and inefficiencies. Most people see these as headaches, as reasons to quit, or as obstacles to avoid. The wealthy see them as clues, as hidden doors to opportunity. The market doesn't reward ideas in isolation. It rewards ideas that alleviate pain, save time, increase efficiency, or enhance happiness. Every complaint you hear is a blueprint for potential wealth if you're willing to pay attention. The strategy is to approach problems systematically. Don't just react, observe, analyze, and create solutions. Become a student of inconvenience. Ask yourself, what frustrates people in your industry or community? Where are the gaps? What keeps people up at night or leaves them dissatisfied? Treat problems like treasure maps, because they are. The more significant the problem you can solve, the greater the reward, both financially and personally. Practical steps make this tangible. Start by listing the top 5 problems people express in your area of expertise. Dig deep, listen, observe, and ask questions. Then take one of these problems and design a product, service, or system that eases that pain. Don't overcomplicate. The simplest solution is often the most powerful. Charge fairly, serve greatly, and allow the value you create to compound over time. Your income will follow naturally, because the market always rewards solutions, not intentions. Remember, problems are not your enemies. They are the raw material of wealth. Those who learn to turn challenges into opportunities will always find themselves ahead, creating prosperity not only for themselves, but for everyone they serve. Wealth, like a garden, requires both care and discernment. You can't expect abundance if you scatter your energy everywhere and nurture everything equally. The philosophy is simple. Water what's fruitful and prune what's dead. Assets, habits, and relationships all respond to attention and intention. Some grow steadily, compounding over time, while others quietly drain resources, energy, and focus. The rich understand that prosperity is not about doing more, it's about doing more of what works and less of what doesn't. This principle applies to investments, routines, and even the people you surround yourself with. The strategy is to become an attentive gardener of your financial life. Evaluate consistently. Act decisively and allocate resources where they yield the greatest returns. Reinforce systems, habits, and investments that produce growth. Be honest about what is underperforming and have the courage to eliminate it. Too many people cling to underperforming assets, bad habits, or toxic relationships because they fear loss. Yet, the only way to build real wealth is to cut what drains and reinvest in what multiplies. This requires discipline, clarity, and patience, qualities that compound just like capital over time. Practical steps bring this principle to life. Every quarter, Sit down with your portfolio, your budget, and your business activities. Review each asset, each expense, each habit. Does it grow value, generate income, or build equity? If yes, consider doubling down. If no, cut it decisively. Cancel unproductive subscriptions, sell stagnant investments, and eliminate habits that waste time or money. Apply the same scrutiny to your personal network. Invest more time with those who challenge and inspire you, and step away from those who pull you backward. Reinforcement and pruning create space for growth, ensuring that every resource, time, money, energy, works efficiently toward your goals. Remember, wealth is not static. It is a living system that requires ongoing attention, care, and the courage to let go of what no longer serves you. By reinvesting in what works and pruning what doesn't, you set the stage for exponential growth, turning modest beginnings into enduring prosperity. Legacy is the quiet echo of a life well lived, far louder than any luxury you might acquire. The philosophy is simple. Luxury fades, status changes, possessions depreciate, but a well-built legacy endures. True wealth is measured not by what you can display today, but by what continues to produce value tomorrow. Too many chase temporary pleasures, convinced that their worth is reflected in cars, watches, or vacations. The rich, however, understand that the ultimate goal of wealth is influence, continuity, and the ability to serve future generations. Your money, time, and energy are tools to create a lasting impact, not fleeting applause. The strategy begins by thinking beyond yourself and beyond the immediate gratification of consumption. Build assets and systems that continue to work even when you're not actively managing them. This might mean a business structured to operate without your constant presence, intellectual property that earns royalties over decades, or investments designed to grow and support future generations. Equally important is the transfer of wisdom. Teaching your principles, mentoring others, and instilling values in your family or community ensures that your influence multiplies beyond the scope of your own work. Legacy is never accidental. It requires foresight, intentionality, and patience. Practical steps make this philosophy actionable. Begin with the fundamentals. Create a will and estate plan to ensure your assets are distributed according to your intentions. Next, mentor at least one person who embodies your values and can carry your financial and personal principles forward. Share your lessons, strategies, and philosophy with them. Knowledge is the most enduring asset. Finally, build something that continues to serve. A business, an educational platform, or a charitable initiative. If structured wisely, these endeavors can continue to create value long after your active involvement has ended. Wealth without legacy is fleeting. Legacy ensures that your efforts ripple through time. Focus on creating enduring value, passing down wisdom, and establishing systems that outlive you. By thinking legacy, not luxury, you ensure that your wealth does more than enrich your life. It enriches lives for generations to come. Speculation is thrilling, but it rarely builds lasting wealth. The philosophy is clear. Speculators chase excitement and quick wins, reacting to headlines and trends, while investors focus on principles, discipline, and long-term value. Emotion drives speculation. Patience and knowledge drive investing. The difference between the two is the difference between temporary thrills and enduring financial freedom. When I started, I watched people gamble in markets, hoping for luck, only to find that luck fades faster than a fleeting smile. True wealth comes from steady, informed decisions, not from chasing the noise. The strategy is to anchor every financial decision in evidence and rational thinking rather than emotion. Research thoroughly. Understand the underlying value of any asset and measure your decisions against long-term potential rather than immediate gratification. Investors patiently wait for opportunities where risk and reward are balanced, while speculators jump at every headline, creating volatility and often loss. Discipline separates the wealthy from those who remain in cycles of gain and regret. Investments should be approached as long-term commitments, not short-term bets, allowing compounding and consistent growth to work in your favor. Practical steps make this philosophy actionable. Commit to studying any investment for at least 30 days before allocating money. During this period, read about its history, performance trends, and underlying business or asset value. Avoid making decisions based on fear, hype, or hot tips. Focus instead on assets you fully understand, whether stocks, real estate, businesses, or other vehicles, so that every dollar works reliably toward your financial goals. Track your investments not daily, but in terms of progress toward long-term objectives, and revisit your portfolio periodically to rebalance and ensure alignment with your principles. Being the investor, not the speculator, transforms your approach to money. It turns gambling into strategy, chaos into order, and short-term anxiety into long-term confidence. By choosing research over reaction, patience over impulse, and evidence over excitement, you allow your capital to work consistently for you, building a foundation that lasts. Wealth is a marathon, not a sprint, and every informed, disciplined decision moves you closer to financial freedom. As we draw this conversation to a close, I want you to pause and reflect on one truth that underpins every story of lasting wealth. It is not the money that makes the person rich, but the philosophy, discipline, and decisions behind the money. Every dollar you earn, every asset you acquire, and every choice you make either serves you or enslaves you. The journey to financial freedom is not built on luck or chance. It is built on thought, preparation, and action, consistently applied over time. Most people are trained to be broke, not by some grand conspiracy, but by habits, beliefs, and patterns that they inherited or absorbed without question. The rich, however, unlearn these patterns, question their assumptions, and deliberately adopt practices that compound their effort into lasting results. Think about your daily choices. Are they aligned with wealth building, or are they simply comforting habits that keep you occupied without moving the needle? Wealth is never an accident. It is the byproduct of intentional action, repeated consistently. It is earned not by chasing what seems exciting today, but by investing in what builds value for tomorrow. This is why the mindset matters more than the numbers. Before your portfolio grows, your mind must grow. Before your assets multiply, your character, discipline, and wisdom must multiply. You cannot outsource this part of the journey. Your decisions, your habits, and your ability to learn and adapt will determine your results more than any market ever could. Now, take responsibility for your financial life. Audit your habits, your spending, your investments, and your time. Ask yourself, am I building assets or just buying distractions? Am I protecting my capital or gambling it away? Then, start acting as if the life you desire already belongs to you. Think, plan, and operate like someone who has achieved the freedom you seek, even while you are on the path. Small steps repeated daily create enormous compounding effects over years. Discipline today is freedom tomorrow. Patience today is prosperity tomorrow. Consistency today is wealth tomorrow. And here's the call to action. Begin immediately. Write down your financial philosophy, your principles, and your non-negotiables. Identify one asset to acquire this month, one habit to strengthen, and one expense to eliminate. Seek out mentors, read voraciously, and surround yourself with people who elevate your thinking. Take control of your money, your time, and your life, and let them serve you rather than enslave you. The road to your first million or your next milestone is not magic. It is measurable, predictable, and accessible. The choice is yours. Continue as you have been, or start today to think, act, and live like the person who deserves financial freedom. The journey is yours, the decisions are yours, and the rewards, if you commit, will be yours as well. Your future wealth begins with the actions you take in this very moment. Make them deliberate, make them consistent, and make them count.